dream of vision. For vision, more fine lace, he can still bring his stuff. Yeah. This big Giants talk of New York with a skyline bleeds. Basketball dreams in the football seas. Got a mic in the hand and a vision that feeds. In the fantasy realms where the ghost dog leads. He's a shadow on the court and a phantom on the field. Timberland stomping, truth never concealed. Got my podcast lit, each story revealed. Talk Ryan legends and hoops that appeal.
Yeah, man, back at it again. I get it. Aboriginal sports faithful, GhostDog's Big Talk faithful. Spin a little bit, man. Life and school got in the way. However, we back here. Another loss. More giant woes. When is it gonna end? You feel me? Because at this point, man, and look, before we get into all that, make sure you hitting that subscribe button, that like button, especially if you feel the vibe. You get it. Help a brother out. That being the case, Jackson Dart issues. Is Kafka up out of here and Joe Shane with him? Fernando Mendoza? Fam, look, I know I've been away for a while, but all this stuff I'm hearing through the Giants fan community lines and the social medias and all that, like, you know what this is? You know what this is? This is loser shit. This is what this is. This is loser shit. This is, I'm done and I want to take my ball and go home type of mentality. This is what this is. And I understand it's frustrating as a Giants fan to sit here and to see all this madness going on, because that's what it is. It's really madness. To have to sit here and watch the product on the field week in and week out as the seasons go by, man. It sucks. However, to sit there and like automatically be all about the boat, before I even get into that situation, let's just dissect that game yesterday a little bit. So yeah, man, let's dissect this Viking games a little bit. Just absolutely terrible, man. And I get it. Jackson Dart held back a little bit by Kafka, trying to play safe and smart. Understandable. But Kafka, you just can't be that guy. You can't stunt that young man's growth. In the same way you can't have Brian Dable run him into the ground, you can't not try to utilize and get the best out of him, especially given the circumstances. He was the only thing that was going to get you through the day, because it wasn't going to be this defense. Javon Holland, bro, get out of here. You're getting ran over every week, I've noticed. Where's Bobbio? Dex, well, Brian Burns is the only dude out there making any noise, man. Abdul Carter from time to time. This defense is bad. And then Theo Johnson dropping passes. Darius Slayton. Yo, Darius Slayton makes it so hard to defend that man. It's just bad. How many years in the league you've been in the league already? It's just, bro, it's bad. How many years? And you still dropping passes like that? I can't. No more. He's got to go too. That's another indictment on Joe Shane. That's why look, we going to get into that though. Quick little breakdown of that Vikings game though. It was bad. And then despite the numbers, yo, fam, it felt like it might as well have been like we were down by 30, even though it was like by a possession or two. It was just bad. But it's just par for the course. It's been the theme for this team. It just is. Vikings, Flores defense. I could already kind of had a feeling going into the game how it was going to end up. At the very least, I wanted to look things to look competitive from an offensive standpoint. What I don't want now is for people to see Jackson Dart's like inadequacies and his hesitancies to now be construed with like stunting his growth. And now use that as a justification to be like, see, Dayball wasn't the problem. It was really Joe Shane. Nah, fam, we're not going to do that over here. Absolutely not. Now, do I want him to play safe and play smart? Absolutely. I do not want to take away his ability to make plays on his feet. The concussion situation, fam, this is football. People gonna get cracked. People gonna get hurt. He said it out of his mouth. It might be a little bit of a situation where like now it's like repetitive and all that nonsense and what have you. However, man, let the kid play. Is it possible that now Kafka's like in his ear, like, you know, be careful this, be careful that, make sure you play in the pocket and all that stuff? Possibly. And if that's the case, Kafka, I'm sorry, because I was in your corner at one point. You got to go. We can't have none of that over here. What we need is somebody to be able to take what Jackson Dart has and bring more out of it to finish shaping his potential. That's what we need. You can't play scared in football, man. You just can't. Now, is that to say to play stupid? No. We absolutely want to play smart. That being the case, no, I'm not. Look, I'm all for protecting the young man and allowing him to develop, but I don't want to like take away what makes him great. And that instinct, that backyard ability to play backyard ball, that's what makes him great. We can't take that away. We just can't. And going back to Kafka, man, unfortunately, it's just a reality. Your little like trial period is coming to a close here real soon. And now it comes up to the point where there's some noise going on too with Joe Shane. And not that I'm of the mind of getting him out of here right away off the strength of trying to have some continuity for Jackson Dart's sake. However, if he's gone, I'm not going to shed no tears. And I don't need to go over reasonings. That man allowed one of our most valuable players to go to the main ops and win a championship Super Bowl off his back. Pause. So that in and of itself, on top of all the other situations, I'm not going to go into that. However, there's a lot of noise now that Joe Shane might be on the chopping block. And I, for one, wouldn't be surprised if he is up out of here when it comes time. So, that being the case, now that Kafka's up out of here and, you know, Joe Shane, who takes his spot as the GM? Who takes the spot for the head coach now? A couple candidates out there, McCarthy, Spags. I'm absolutely all the way out on Bill Belichick. I don't even want to hear that man's name be put out there. However, another name that's been coming out here lately is Marcus Freeman, head coach of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. A young head coach, a coach that looks like to be a leader of men over there. And make no mistake about it, despite what you might think of Notre Dame, there's a certain expectations over there where if you're not doing things and producing, you're not there for long. It's like the Yankees. There's a certain pedigree, a level of expectation with those organizations that have that. So we're going to see, man. And then also we're going to see as far if Joe Shane gets fired, who takes his spot. And if he comes in, now that opens up this nasty ass can of worms and this ugly ass door as to, oh, well, new GM means he can do what he wants. He doesn't have to have Dart forced on him. And you'd be right on an objective level. You're right. He should have that right to come in as a new GM and weigh out all options. However, I'd be remiss to like sit here and say, I think you'd be foolish to take this job as a GM or even a head coach for that matter and not absolutely take New Jack City Dart into consideration to be your future quarterback going forward. There's just no way you don't take that into serious consideration. And it's crazy to me, like these fans, no wonder why they call us the most idiotic fan base across the board. You guys saw glimpses and flashes of what this young man could be, despite the tumultuous start to his career. And you're so ready to move on from him for Fernando Mendoza, aka Kirk Cousins 2.0. I'm okay with that. No, thank you. You keep New Jack City Dart here. If we have the number one pick, right? If you're the GM and the head coach coming in next year, you work on that young man. You use that number one pick to move back, acquire assets, build around him, maybe even give him a trial year period. And hey, look, If things don't work out next year or the next year after that, at least you got draft picks to work with going forward off of this number 1 draft pick. None of these quarterbacks are worth it in my eyes over New Jack City Dart at this point with that number 1 draft pick. And let's not forget, old boy wide receiver from Ohio is eligible next year. So if we move back, acquire some picks, man, who's to say we can't pair him with Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors, and a Cam Scatterball? What is his name? Jeremiah Smith, if I'm not mistaken. So come on, man. We got to think ahead a little bit here, ladies and gentlemen, as Giants fans. We can't let our loser emotions get the best of us. This shit is fugazi corny to me at this point. I'm hearing craziness. Like, and especially like the Daboll wasn't the issue situation. Stop it. We had to save Jackson Dart from Daboll because he was going to run him into the ground. And that's not to say, again, I want to stunt that ability to move out of the pocket and make plays with his feet, but we have to play smart with it. I want that to be a feature, not the main attraction. I just don't. And not that I'm trying to change or want him to change who he is. Look, man, Josh Allen's are one of one. Lamar Jackson's are one of one. You know what I'm saying? Like, those type of players are one of one. And not to say that Jackson Dart can't be a one of one. We got to see it first. In the meantime, let's prepare him smart. And we do that by getting a head coach in here that can get the best out of him. GM be damned, whether he's here or not. I think we got here one, ladies and gentlemen. I really do, in a New Jack City Dart. And this is coming from somebody who wanted Shadir Sanders, who, by the way, Joe Shea wanted. Daboll wanted New Jack City Dart, of course. And I'm okay with that decision. I just know Daboll wasn't the guy to get the best out of him. On the contrary, if what would have ended up happening was if New Jack City Dart wasn't the unicorn that Josh Allen is, there would be similar results to a Daniel Jones situation. And look how Daniel Jones is performing up there in Indy, minus the injury now. And we're not even going to get into all that. But coaching matters. Getting the right guy in here matters. Otherwise, how are you going to get rid of this stench? The Giants are a smelly organization. And ownership needs to get it together, man. They just do. They just do. They need to just really understand what it is that they have. Look, I'm not an owner. I don't own any major businesses and all that. I'm just a fan, okay? But a concerned fan, and I'm a consumer. And I got plenty of complaints about the product that I'm consuming, ingesting, if you will. So, look, man, John Mara, get healthy. Cancer is a motherfucker. I ain't gonna sit here and act like it's not. That being the case, from a football perspective, let's get it together, man. The Mars and the Tishes are football families. Let's start acting like it. If you want to get rid of Joe Shane, fine. I won't bat an eye at it. Because the man has enough stains on his resume to warrant it. The only thing where I'm not clamoring for it like I was with Daboll is because I've seen the potential with the draft picks. Now, there's some argument there with the exchanges, the off-season acquisitions, if you will. Understandably so. Devon Holland is looking like straight cheeks. Adebo, meh. The only one that's worked out is Brian Burns because Bobby O has just faded into obscurity, but that can be put on coaching. Same thing with the draft picks with Deonte Banks, Evan Neal, all faded into obscurity because of coaching. And all the others as well. You can even sit there and pin the fact that they let Xavier McKinney go off of coaching. Because I got a theory that Brian Daboll wanted McKinney out because McKinney was a Wink Martindale guy. And he was making too much noise. Go back to it. I'm telling you. There was a report out there where he had some commentary and he had to respond to it. Okay? There's a lot of stuff that you can lay at Brian Daboll's feet. There's a plenty more to lay at Joe Shane's feet. But guess what? It all starts at the top. Maras, Tishes, let's get it together. In the meantime, you have so much here to work with. Just get the right people in the building who know how to work with it. Okay? Simple mathematics. That being the case, man, I have gone on long enough. Yeah, buddy, Ghost Dog's Big Talk. I'm back here, man. Stay tuned. We're going to try to pick things up back here again. I'm going to try to start bringing back the Tap In Tuesdays over at the Aboriginal Sports Network. If you haven't go subbed over there yet, go make sure you do so, as well as over here at Ghost Dog's Big Talk, man. And as I always say, man, I'm going to give y'all a big blue salute. And peace.
From the shadows of MetLife to Mike's last track, Ghost Dog repping Big Blue, never looking back. Podcast sales, that's deep in the fog. Gridiron echoes follow the phantom dog. Jersey glows under moonless skies, fades with the beat, but never truly dies. He barks once loud, a New York anthem blast that vanishes like stories to podcast pass.
This is a Ghost Dog mixtape original.